Okay, we'll start the session. Before I start the session, I'll just quickly recap what we discussed yesterday. So in yesterday's session, what was the things we discussed? So first we discussed about what is Linux. Linux is an operating system. Which type of operating system? Open source operating system. Open source means the source code of the Linux operating system, which is designed by Linus Torvald, is freely available over the internet, which anybody can access and modify. Because of that, we have so many flavors in Linux. So which flavor we are going to discuss? RHEL7 through the CentOS 7. The only difference between RHEL7 and CentOS 7 is everything is same except for RHEL7 they are charging it to provide the support. They are providing you the support, but they are charging. But same thing, same features, everything is there in CentOS, exact same copy. It is a clone. In that, everything is free, but there is no support, except that everything is same. So we are going to use the CentOS 7 in place of RHEL7. So the command, the interface, everything will be same between RHEL7 and CentOS 7. From installation to the command interface, everything will be same. Okay, so yesterday I went through the what are the topics which we are going to cover through this Linux administration course, and I also told you that this course is very useful when you want to work on any one of the cloud technology, whether you want to work on the AWS or DevOps or the VMware, even the Azure, even one of the operating system knowledges need to be there. So compulsory for the AWS, the DevOps. Without this, you cannot understand anything. Okay. So yesterday we discussed also about the most of the servers in the world are working on Linux. So there might be some reason for that. Yes, most of the people or the client prefer to use Windows because it is easy to operate. But most of the servers in the world are working on Linux. Why? Because of the certain features. So Linux have very good security and it is very stable. So these are the features, some of the important features. First of all, Linux is having very good security. And second thing is what? It is very secure. The structure of the Linux operating system is also very sound and very secure. Because of that, it will not frequently get restarted. And second thing, it will not get like the downtime of the Linux operating system is also very low, because whenever we install any new service, the servers means which provide the services. So when you have a server, you need to keep on adding the services frequently. So in Windows, when you add any new service, you have to restart the machine. So when it is restarting the production server, the services will not be available. But in Linux, we'll never restart the machine. We'll just restart the service. So the downtime will be very less in Linux. So the most important thing is good security, and the structure of the Linux is very stable, sound, and very, you can say, very unique. So in Windows, everything is installed in a single partition, whereas in Linux, the OS installation when we'll do tomorrow, you can see the structure of the Linux OS can be installed, or Linux OS or Linux operating system can be installed on multiple partition. So what is the benefit or advantage of that? So whenever any OS folder in Windows get corrupted, entire OS will get affected. But in Linux, we will be installing the OS on multiple partition. So here, if one of the OS folder get affected, that OS folder belong to which particular partition, that only will get affected without affecting the entire OS. So that are the some of the important reasons. Because of that, the Linux has been preferred in the servers. So today we will see why we are using the Linux as a server mostly in most of the company. So let me start with this structure, the structure of the Linux OS. So we discussed yesterday, Linux is an open source and Linux has been developed using the Unix. And who designed or who developed this Linux OS? Linus Torvald. So now we'll see the structure of the Linux operating system. Before we go to the Linux, you have to remember this structure. So here the Linux operating structure will consist of this. The Linux structure program is logically divided into this. So here, as a user, you will be sitting. So your machine consists of what? Hardware and the software. So the structure of the Linux OS consists of what? The application, the shell, and the Linux kernel. The Linux kernel. Okay. So first thing is what? Whatever the applications we are using, it will be there on the first interface. But our operating system, Linux operating system program is logically divided into two layers. What are they? First layer is the shell. So what is the first layer of the Linux operating system? Shell. And the second one is what? Kernel. So in the Windows, you will have kernel, but there is no shell. So what is the disadvantage of the Windows? So suppose any virus program is there or any virus file is there. So Windows program directly run it. But here we have the security shell. So what is the shell here? So we'll discuss that in detail. So in Windows, there will be no shell, but in Linux, there will be shell. Now, what is the shell? So the Linux operating system program is consist of, or the Linux operating system program is logically divided into two layers. What are there? The shell and the application means the software. Everybody knows that. Whatever application we install on the machine, it will be there first. Then, but those things are installed well on the operating system. So our operating system, suppose we install in our machine Linux. So Linux operating system consists of what? Shell and the kernel. So the difference between the Windows structure and the Linux is the shell. So what is the shell? Shell is the interface between the user and the kernel. So shell, what it will do? It will act like a command checker. So suppose if any command you write in Linux, so if the command is been predefined or written by the developer or the vendor, then that command will be executed. If suppose you write some new command, then that command will you will get a message, command does not found. So if any command which has been written by the developer is predefined, whichever predefined commands are there, if you are given the proper command, then it will, if the command is proper or not, it will be checked by the shell. So if the command is proper, that command will be going to the kernel. If the command is improper or not predefined command, then it will say immediately, it will say command does not found. So it will not go to the kernel. If the proper command is there, then it will go to the kernel. So most of the shells are developed by using what? C language. So what the command will do? It is an interface between the user and the kernel. So it will check whether the command given by the user is proper or not. If it is proper, it will go to the kernel. And it will also identify that command is being written by which user. Super user means root or the normal user. So this will be defined by the, or this is the work or the purpose of the shell. Now, what is the shell we are using? Default shell which we are using in Linux? Bin bash. So what is the default shell we are using in Linux? Bin bash. So what is the shell we are using in Linux? Bin bash. So whenever we want to write any command in Windows, we need to open what? We need to go to the command prompt. Whereas in Linux, we need to open the terminal. So once we open the terminal, what is the default shell we will be using? This is the name of the shell or the program which will do this work. So it is a command checker and it will identify this command is been given by which user. After that, it will check whether that command is proper or not. If it is a proper, it will send that command to the kernel. If it is improper, it will just shows you the message, the command does not found. So the shell acts like a interface between the user and the kernel. So if the command is proper, it will accept, and then it translates to the binary language and translate that to a binary language for the kernel. Now the kernel will come. Now what the kernel will do? Now kernel will is the interface between the shell and the hardware. Our machine consists of hardware and the shell. So it is the kernel is the interface between the shell and the hardware. The most important part of the Linux operating system or any operating system is what? Kernel. So what is the name of the kernel of the Linux? VM Linux. So once the installation is done, I'll show you that name. You just remember. So Linux is called the Linux operating system. Main part is kernel. So the name of the Linux kernel is VM Linux. The shell name is bin bash. So Linux is called the core of the operating system. Kernel is called the core or the brain or the heart of the operating system. So the kernel will directly communicate with the hardware. So every operating system contains kernel. So basically the kernel is the bridge between the user and the resources. So what the kernel will do? What the kernel will do? It control all the tasks. It control all the tasks that comes to it. So what is the function of the, like, you can simply remember the kernel is something like a brain of the operating system. Like in our body, all our activities and functions are controlled and managed by brain. So suppose you are doing any particular task. So who will, under the guidance of whom the task will be done or that function will be done? So brain will tell us which action which are we doing. Our body consists of different parts, so different parts will do different work, but which task should be done or which part of the body should do which task, who will decide and who will control and who will manage this? The brain. So same way, whenever we do any task, so it will be decided by Linux kernel or the kernel, which particular task should be done by which particular hardware or the software. So all the tasks will be controlled and managed by the kernel. Same like in our body, our brain will control all our activities. Function will be done by different parts of our body, but it will be done under the control of the, or it will be decided and controlled and managed by brain. So same exactly things will be done by the Linux kernel. Okay. So now once the command is proper, it will come to the kernel. Now kernel will decide this task should be done by whom? That particular hardware or software. It will send to that. Now once the output is comes, now the kernel, the machine understand only binary language. So once the output comes, it will be in binary language. So kernel will send the output to the shell. Now again, shell will convert it back to the high level language, because we as a user we don't understand binary language and the machine understand only binary language. So whenever we write our task, our command, it will be in high level language, human readable language. So we will write it on the shell. So shell, first you will check whether the command we have given is proper or not. If it is proper, it will convert that command into binary and it will send to the kernel. Now the kernel will decide this task should be done by whom. So then it will send to that. Then that particular task or function will be done by the machine. Then once the output is ready, it comes to the kernel. Now the output to the kernel will be in binary format. So it will send the output to the shell. Now the shell will convert that output from binary to high level language and displays on the monitor. So shell is the security layer between the user and the kernel. So if it is unknown command is there, if any virus is there, so shell will not run that. So virus cannot enter. Whereas in the Windows, every program will be run because there is no checker there. So only kernel will be there. So it will directly run that program and most of the time it will get affected. So Windows operating system understand the file with the help of the extensions. Like different files will have different extensions, like text file .txt, executable file .exe, database file .dat, media file mp3, batch file bat. But whereas in Linux we will not have the extensions. In Linux we will not have the extensions. So in Linux the files are understand. In Windows the files are understand with the help of the extensions. Whereas in Linux the files will not have the extension. So how we will identify it here? So we will identify the files with the help of what? Two things. So here files are identified by type of file. So when you create a file and you check the properties or attributes, in that special characters will be there. For different types of file, one type of character will be there. So with the help of that, we will identify. So that is called type of file. So this type of files are understand with the help of the symbols and alphabet, and mode of permission will be there. So in Linux, the type file files is identified with the help of what? Symbols and alphabet. Like example, if it is a normal file, we'll get hyphen. For hidden file, dot. So here, if it is a normal file, you will get what? Hyphen. If it is a hidden file, you will get what? Dollar. If it is a block file, you will see the B. For block file, you will see what? B. So same way, if it is a link file, you will get what? If it is a link file, your letter will be what? L. A small letter. These are all small letters. So I'm showing you uh, because if you give the gap, it will come like this. So it is like this. So the block file will be identified with the help of what? B. B means block file. And the link file will be understand with the help of what? L. L means link file. Socket file will be understand with the help of what? S. Directory will be identified with the D letter. Pipe file with the P. Special character file, character. So here basically what you have to understand, in Windows the files are identified with the help of the extensions, whereas in Linux the files are identified. Which type of file is there, we will identify it with the help of the symbols and characters. So if it is a normal file, the first character of the file, how to check it, we will be discussing in the practical. So for the normal file, the symbol will be what? Hyphen. For a hidden file, dot. And what is the alphabet for the block file? B. For link file, L. For socket file, S. For directory, first D. And for pipe file, P. And the character file, C. So this is there. And the mode of permission will be always only read write, no execute permission. And the users will not have, only administrator will have read write, and the rest of the user will have only read. So they cannot modify and they cannot execute. So because of that, Linux operating system is much more secure and stable because of its architecture level, and the security is very good because of the shell. Okay, so Linux operating system is more secure than Windows because of its architecture level security due to the shell, and operating system level security due to the mode of permission. It will have only read permission for rest of the user. So that is why most of the servers in the world, they are working on Linux. So Linux is the foundation course for your higher courses, like whether you could talk about AWS, DevOps, VMware, admin, Oracle, SAP. So without this, without Linux foundation, it is very difficult to understand them. Okay, so are you following? Yes, whatever we have discussed up to this, did you understood, everyone? Yes, please tell me yes or no. If you have any doubt, if you are not understanding any point, you can write it in the chat box. So up to this, it is clear to everyone? Okay, what about you, Venkatesh and Zafar? The Sonam said she is understood. What about you, Venkatesh and Zafar? You also understood? Okay. And Venkatesh, you also replied. Did you understood or you have any doubt? Okay, nice. So then shall I continue the next topic? Shall I continue the next topic? Okay. So now, like for most of the people, Linux is an most of the people, at least in India, most of the people, for Linux is their Linux operating system is new to them. Whereas most of the people in the world, they are mostly aware about the Windows, mostly aware. So especially in India, the most of the people are not aware much about the Linux. So that is why we are starting from initial things so that everybody can understand this. So now the Linux operating system, if you want to understand and work on the Linux operating system, so first you need to understand the structure of the Linux operating system. So now this is what we have discussed. So first, Linux is more secure because of this structure. So here the structure of the Linux operating system consists of what? Shell and kernel. So what is the use of the shell? You understood? This is there. Now we will discuss about the file system structure of the Linux. So if you want to operate the Linux operating system, you should be aware about where exactly what data will be stored. Now that we will be discussing. So yesterday I went through the what are the topics which we are going to discuss in depth. Yes, I given you the topic names and what are the use of that. Okay, so this is about yesterday I completed. Now today we will discuss. So if you want to understand the Linux, you need to understand what? The structure of the Linux operating system which we have discussed. After understanding the structure of the Linux operating system, we need to understand where exactly what data will be stored in Linux, because we are more familiar with the Windows. We are more familiar with the Windows. So we are more familiar with the Windows operating system structure, where exactly what data will be stored. Now, if you want to understand where what type of data will be stored in Linux, that if you understand, then it will become little bit easy to operate the Linux operating system. So today we are going to discuss about the where exactly what data will be stored in the Linux operating system. So that is been discussed under the topic called FHS. FHS stands for File System Hierarchy Standard, where we will be discussing which data or what type of data will be stored where in the Linux operating system. So once you understand that, then you can able to understand the Linux operating system, and then you can operate the Linux operating system. So file system means in simple words, it is a collection of files and directory where it is. So file system means it is a collection of files and directory. So exactly these files and directory, where exactly it is stored in the hard disk or in the operating system of the Linux. So whenever we install any operating system, normally where the OS will get stored on the hard disk. So once we install any operating system, which type of data will be stored in which particular location, that we need to understand, so that we can understand with the help of the file system. So file system will guide us exactly where exactly what type of data is stored. So now whenever we want, we can able to go there and we can able to see it. So you have to remember that the when we install the Windows OS, where exactly the Windows OS will get installed. When we install the Windows OS, where it exactly it will get installed? On the C drive. But when we install the Linux OS, where exactly it will get installed? So in Linux, there is no concept of drive letter. In Linux, the drive letter is not there. So then where the Linux OS will get installed? So it will get installed on the Linux will have the structure that is called file system structure. So where that file system structure here is will be it is called here what? Directory. So where exactly? So our data will be stored in a file. So where these files will be located? So that we are going to, where exactly what data will be stored, we are going to discuss in file system structure. So the structure of the Linux operating system. So the Linux operating system contain the operating system in the format of the tree structure. In the tree structure, you will have what? One main directory. Under the main directory, there will be many subdirectories. So the Linux uses a directory tree to manage the directories and files. So when we install the Windows OS, where exactly the Windows OS will get stored? So we are more familiar with Windows. So first we will discuss about the Windows. So suppose this is your machine. This is your machine. So in this machine, you have installed Windows operating system. You have installed Windows operating system. So once you install the Windows operating system in your machine, you will have what? Hard disk. On the hard disk, where the OS will get installed, Windows OS. So Windows OS will get installed in C drive. So your Windows OS will be present where? In C drive. So this C drive consists of many folders. So the important folders are Windows. One folder important, one field Windows folder. Inside this Windows folder, you have subfolders like 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 one of the subfolder is System32. Then one of the subfolder is temporary file. One of the subfolder is the drivers. One of the subfolder is log files. So these are the total content in main content in Windows folder. Then similar to the Windows folder, we have a folder with a name called program files. We have a program file where all installed applications. So whenever we install any application, where it will be stored in Windows, all installed application will be stored. So whenever you install any .exe application, where it will be stored in Windows, in program file. Then you have a folder. With the name called users. Then you have a folder with a name called users. So inside this user folder, there will be one separate folder with a name called, there is a separate folder called administrator. There is a separate folder called administrator. So this administrator folder contains the administrator user created files and folder. So in Windows, whenever as administrator, you created any files and folder. So administrator data will be stored where? In C drive, user folder, administrator folder. This is the subfolder. This is the main folder. This is there under C drive. Drive is a collection of folders. Okay. So where the administrator data will be stored in Windows, C drive, users, administrator folder. So administrator folder contain administrator user data. Now this is administrator, but when you create some normal users, like I have created U1, U2, many users have created. So for each and every user, one subfolder will be created inside the users. So now user one data will be stored where? In user folder. In user folder, one subfolder will be there with the name of the user. So the U1 data will be here and U2 data will be here, U2 folder. So like that, for each and every user, one subfolder will be created with their name under the users. For administrator, one subfolder will be there with the name administrator. So administrator data will be there here and the users data will be there. So administrator data and users data all will be there in user folder in Windows. But for administrator, one subfolder will be there with the name administrator. And for rest of the users with their name, one subfolder will be created. For each and every user, one subfolder will be created once we create a user. So if you created suppose user3, so user3 subfolder will be created. So user3 data will be stored in user3 folder under the users, which is under the C drive. Okay, did you understood this structure? I think most of the people are aware about this structure. So is it clear, the Windows structure? Yes. Is it clear to all of you? Zafar, Venkatesh, and Sonam? Okay. Now our main interest is, now we will compare this structure with the Linux structure. Now we will compare it with the Linux structure. Now how the Linux structure will be there, you can see here. Linux structure. So in Linux structure, first thing you have to remember that there is no drive letter in Linux. So whenever we install the Linux operating system, where exactly it will get installed? On the directory. Here there is no drive letter. So Linux OS will get installed on the directory, and the directory is in the form of a tree structure. So this is the overall of the structure of the Linux. So here you can see the main directory here is slash. So you can compare the slashes to C drive. So in Windows, when you install the Windows OS, where it will get installed? On the C drive. Whereas when you install the Linux OS, where it will get installed? On the hard disk only. But in the hard disk, in C drive, the Windows OS will get installed. Whereas the Linux OS will get installed where? On the slash. And the slash here is the main directory. So you can compare C drive to the slash. So this C drive contain many folders, but slash contain many subfolders. So these are the many subfolders. So these are the many subfolder. So each and every subfolder will contain some sort of data. Like the Windows contain what? Windows folder contain what? System32, drivers, log file inside the C drive. Then the C drive also contain program file which contain installed application. Then C drive also contain users folder which contain subfolder for each and every user. So same way, when we install the Linux operating system, Windows operating system get installed on C drive, whereas Linux operating system will get installed where? On the slash. Here slash is called the directory. Slash is called the directory. So first thing you have to remember, there is no drive letter in Linux. So the administrator name in Linux is root. That name you cannot change. Whereas the administrator account name in Windows is administrator. Whereas in Linux and Unix, the administrator account name is root. So when we say only root, it means we are referring to the administrator. So what is the name of the administrator in Linux and Unix? Root. So here where the Linux OS will get installed? On the slash. Slash is a directory. So this slash directory contain many subdirectories. So each and every subdirectory contains some specific information. So in each and every directory, what type of information will be stored, we'll be discussing one by one. So first point you have to remember is when we install the Windows OS, it will get installed on C drive. Whereas when we install the Linux OS, where the Linux OS will get installed? On the slash. Slash is called the directory. So slash contain many subdirectories. In each and every subdirectory, some specific data or some specific information will be stored. So in each and every directory, what type of data will be stored? We have to discuss. So once you understand that, then you can operate the Linux operating system. So then you can know which data will be stored in which location or in which directory, which data will be stored. So for that, you should know this structure. So if you want, you can just take a snapshot from your mobile, this structure. This is the complete overall structure of the Linux operating system. Now we will discuss one by one all these things. Okay. So can I start one by one all the things where exactly what data will be stored? Okay. Yes, can I start? So if you want, you please take a snapshot from your using your mobile. Take the snapshot using your mobile. Take a snapshot. If you are done, then we will start with the discussion of each and every directory one by one. Okay. Now let me start first with the slash. Let me start first with the slash. So here slash is called the root directory. What is the name given to the slash? It is a directory. What is the name given to it? It is called root directory. So root is different. So when somebody says root, you have to be very clear. Root is different, root directory is different. So just a second. So you have to be very clear. When I'm saying root, when I'm saying only root in Linux, root means it is a user. Which user? Which user? Administrator user. Administrator. So the administrator name in Linux is, so whenever we say root, it is a user. Which user? Administrator user. But when we say slash here, slash means here it is a directory. Slash is a directory. So what is the name of the slash? What is the name of this? It is called root directory. What is the name of it? It is simply called root directory. So whenever we install the Linux OS, so slash directory contain what? Linux OS. Slash directory contain what? Linux OS. It is same like C drive in Windows. So when we install the Windows OS, where it will get installed? Windows OS. Windows OS will get installed where? On the C drive. When we install the Linux OS, where it will get installed? On the directory. Which directory? Slash directory, which is called forward slash. So what is the name of the forward slash? It is called as root directory. When we say only root, it is a user. Which user? Administrator user. That name we cannot change. So whenever anybody says only root, it means they are talking about administrator user account. Whereas slash means it is a directory. What is the name of the slash directory? It is called top level directory, or root directory. Why? Because it is present on the top, and all the directories are the subdirectories. So this is your main directory. And rest of the directories are called subdirectories. That's why before their name, what is coming? Slash. Before their name, what is coming? Slash. So it is means it is the subdirectory. These are all the subdirectories of the slash. Okay, so each subdirectory will contain specific information. What is that? We'll see here. So slash contain what? Linux operating system. Slash contain Linux operating system. So this Linux operating system is stored where? In the slash. So slash contain Linux operating system in the form of many subdirectories. So each and every subdirectories will contain some specific information, like one of the subdirectory is slash bin. One of the subdirectory is what? Slash bin. So what is the full form of slash bin? It is called binary. So it is a subfolder which contain the commands which can be used by any user. So slash bin contain a list of commands which can be used by all users. Then slash boot. Slash boot is simply called boot directory. So it contain what? Linux kernel. So the most important part of Linux operating system is Linux kernel. So where the Linux kernel will be present? In the slash boot directory. So it contains Linux kernel along with bootable file and bootloader. So what is the role of the boot directory? It will do the booting process. Booting process means when we install the OS, where the OS will be there in hard disk. So when we switch on the machine, the OS has to be loaded from the hard disk to RAM. So who will load the Linux OS? Slash boot directory. So whenever we open the machine, the slash boot directory will do the booting process. So we have a session called booting process. So the complete one day we'll be discussing about the booting process. Exactly what things will happen in the booting process. Booting means loading of the OS. How the OS will get loaded. So that we will be discussing. Today you just remember slash boot directory contain the Linux. Most important part of the Linux operating system is Linux kernel. So Linux kernel along with bootable file and bootloader will be present in slash boot directory. So slash boot directory function is it will load the OS, or it will do the booting process. Booting process means loading of the operating system from hard disk to RAM. Then slash dev. Slash dev means it is a subfolder which contain the devices information, hardware devices information. So suppose you want to see your hard disk detail, how much size of the hard disk detail. So where you have to go in Linux? Slash dev. So slash dev contain your it gives the hardware devices information like hard disk. What is the size of your hard disk? You can check from the slash dev. etc contain what? Configuration file. So it contain the configuration file. So whenever we install any application, the application contain what? Configuration file. So where the configuration file will be stored? So the configuration file contain the service information. So that will be stored in the etc, like in Windows registry file is there. Then slash home. Slash home is the home directory of all users. So home slash home is the home directory of all users. So the home directory for all users in Windows is users folder. So similar to that, we have what? Slash home. So slash home is the home directory for all user. So whenever you create any user, where the user will be created in slash home. Suppose you have created user one. So where the user one will be stored? Slash home. So user one writes some files or user one creates some files and directories. So where it will be created in slash home, for that user one subfolder will be created. Like in Windows, for each and every user, one folder will be created in users. So similar to that in Linux, whenever any user is created, the user's name will be stored. For each and every user, one folder will be created with what name? With the same username, one folder will be created. Where? In slash home. So slash home contain the users detail, all users detail. So whenever we create any user, where that user will be located in Linux? In slash home. So slash home is the home directory for all users. So suppose one user is created, user one. So user one is created some data. So where the user one data will be stored? In slash home slash user one. If user two is created, so user two data will be stored where? Slash home slash user two. So for each and every user, one subfolder will be created. Like example in Windows, for each and every user, one subfolder is created. So exactly, just a minute, I'm getting a call. 1 minute. Hello. Good morning. చెప్పండి. క్రెడిట్ కార్డా? ఆల్రెడీ నా దగ్గర ఉన్నది. తర్వాత కాల్ చేయండి, 1 అవర్ తర్వాత. Okay. So for each and every user, one folder will be created with their name under the users in Windows, and their data will be stored there. Exactly same thing happens in Linux also. So if suppose you have created some user in Linux, if you have created some user, suppose I have created one user one I created. So where this user will be created? Under the slash, we have a subdirectory called slash home. So you should read this as a not home. You have to read this as a slash home because it is a subdirectory of the slash. So once we create a user, one folder will be created with their name. So now user one data will be stored here in user one folder. So same way, if you have created suppose user two, now this user also will be stored where? In slash home. User two folder will be there. So user two data will be stored in user two folder. Same like Linux. Oh, sorry, same like Windows. Are you following? Are you following? If you have doubt, you please tell me. If you are following, I'll go to the next point. Is it clear? Okay. So whenever we install the Linux OS, where the Linux OS will be stored? On slash. In the slash, there will be many subdirectories. What are those subdirectories? We are discussing each and every one. Slash bin contain the commands which can be used by all users. Slash boot contain. So we have to read, when we are reading, we have to say slash before name because these are the subdirectories. There is only one main directory as far the Linux operating system is concerned. So when we install Linux OS, where the Linux OS will be stored? On the root directory. What is root directory here? Slash. Slash is called root directory. See here. In Linux, slash is called root directory. So it contains all the subdirectories. Each and every subdirectory contains some specific information like we are discussing. Slash bin. This file I'll be giving you. So once you made the payment and joined for the course, this file along with the practical step file I'll be giving you complete detail. So you don't have to read. You don't have to write everything. Whatever data I'm having, I'll be sending you to your mail ID. Okay. So don't worry about this. So slash bin contain. So slash bin contain. Venkatesh, you have joined today. You did not attended yesterday's session. Today is the first class. So yesterday I gone through the content. What are the topics we are going to discuss? So see here, you can just see my yesterday's video on your email ID. On your email ID, one link will be given. So from that link, you can go and watch our recording. Demo session recording is updated on the YouTube channel, our YouTube channel, Durgasoft. So this is the total content which we are going to discuss through this 1 month course. 1 month means sometime it will extend to 2 or 3 days maximum, 32 or 33 days. So installation, we are not done. Still we are discussing what is Linux, this is structure. Then installation, basic commands. We will be discussing from all fundamental, like what is cat, how to create file using cat, touch VI editor, to modify the file VI editor, how to create directory, single, multiple, all those things will be discussed in basic command. You can go through my yesterday video. Disk management means how to manage our hard disk by creating the partition. Booting process, run level, user administration, group administration, disk quotas, the file permission, 3 types of file permission: basic file permission, ACL, advanced file permission. In that we will be discussing about set UID, set GUID, sticky bit, what is the use of the swap, the process management, to observe what we are doing when the server is running, what are the things are running, how to manage in Windows task manager, in Linux through process management. So we are going to discuss about 2 commands or 2 tools, top and PS, process status. Then how to install the application using RPM and YUM, how we can resize or how we can combine the multiple hard disks into a single space using LVM to resize our partitions or file system. Then RAID level 5, backup and restore using the tar, dump command and automation tools. Then how to configure different servers like Telnet, SSH, SCP, FTP, NFS, Samba server, DNS, Apache, DHCP. So these are the total content which we are going to discuss. Okay. Now, as for this today's session, are you following? Are you following? So, okay, fine. So now we have discussed up to /bin/boot. Now they contain hardware devices information. etc contain configuration file. So /home we were discussing. So /home contain the user's home data. So whenever users write any data, where it will be stored? In /home. So in /home, for each and every user, one folder will be created with their name. So with the, if you go to that folder, that particular user data will be stored. You can see it. Then /bin, /lib contain the binary files. Like in Windows, you have library files. Same way, library files will be stored in /lib. Media directory. Media directory is used to access the removable storage devices, like some on Linux operating system, somebody is connected the pen drive and somebody asks you, you check the pen drive content and show me. So where you should go? Media. So media directory is the mount point. Mount point means access point to access the removable storage device like CD, DVD, USB. Okay. Then MNT is the empty directory, which is used to access the partition. So whenever you create any new partition, in Windows, the partition is accessed through the drive letter. In Linux, everything is accessed through the directory, because the Linux operating system is based on directory. Windows operating system is based on drive letter. So in Windows, the things are accessed with the drive letter. In Linux, the things, everything here is accessed with the directory, remember. Then MISC is a directory which is used to share the NFS server. OPT is an empty directory which is used to install the third-party application. When we install our inbuilt application, where it will be stored? In Windows, when you install any application, where it will be stored? It will be stored in the program file. Whereas in Linux, when we install any application, The application which you are getting from your OS, if you install that, it will be stored in USR. USR full form, Unix system or software resource. You can say system or software resource. So it is similar to like program file. But if you install some third-party application like some antivirus, so where it will get stored, the third-party application will stored in Linux in OPT. Third-party inbuilt application will get stored in USR, remember. Then /root is the home directory of root user. So root user created data will be stored where? In /root. Remember, if somebody asks you, root data will be stored where? In /root. Who is root? Administrator. Remember, don't forget. So slash is called root directory. Only root means administrator. And /root is the home directory of root user. If you understand at least these three things, you will not get much confusion. So you please remember these three things in structure. So first you have to remember slash means it is called root directory. Then /root is a home directory. It is a home directory. Whenever root user login, where it will be login? Root user, when he log in, he will log into the home directory. So it is called home directory of root user. So /root is the home directory of root user. Who is root? Root is a administrator, remember. So who is root? Root is a administrator in Linux. The administrator name in Linux is root. So root is a user. Which user? Administrator user. Then /home. So /home is the home directory of all users. So /home is the, I'll explain you, Sonam, just a minute, about the USR and OPT. Just a minute. So /home is the home directory of all users. /home is the home directory of all users except root. Except root user, all rest of the user home directory /home. So root is a super user, administrator. So for root, separate folder is there in Linux. So if somebody asks you, I log in as an administrator and created the data. So where the admin data will be stored? In /root. So slash called root directory. It contains contain what? Contain Linux operating system. Contain Linux operating system. /root contain root user data. So /root contain root user data. Who is root? Administrator. So /root contain root user data, and rest of the all users data except root, all users data will be stored in /home. /home is the home directory for all users. So when somebody asks, I log in as a user one and I created some files and folder, where it will be stored? In /home /username. Okay. So all users home data will be stored where? In /home. Root user home data will be stored in /root. Who is root? Don't forget, root is a administrator. So slash is called root directory, which contain Linux OS. /root is the home directory of root user. So /root contain root user data, and rest of the all users data will be stored where? In /home. Is it clear? If these three things is clear to you, you can understand Linux. Is it clear, these three things? I'll explain you again USR and OPT. But first you tell me, is it clear to all of you? These three things is clear? Jafar, Sonam and Venkatesh. Okay, so please don't forget. After remembering this, if you forget who is root, Kalyanam, or so who is root? Tell me, who is root? Yes, if you know the answer, yes, administrator. You have to remember, root is an administrator. What is slash? Slash is a directory. That name is root directory. Slash is a directory. Which slash? Forward slash, which contain Linux OS. /root contain root users data. /home contain all users data. So these are the main directory. Okay. Now, Sonam, you ask me, no, like, what is the difference between OPT? So suppose I install one application. So whenever we install any application, in Windows, where the application will be stored? In program file. In program file, the application will be stored. Now in Windows it is. In Windows. Now same way, if I install any application, in Linux, operating system. So where this OS will be stored, or where this, sorry, where in Linux operating system, if I install any application, where this application in Linux operating system, if we install any application, where that application will be stored? In USR. The application will get installed. The application will get installed. The application will get installed where? In Windows, in program file. In Linux, where it will get installed? In USR. So USR is similar to program file. So this is when we install the application which we are getting from our OS. So in Linux, thousands of application you will get, but sometime you have to install some third-party application. Third-party application means the application which is not there in your OS. So you have to download that you have to download that application from some third-party source like internet, or your friend given to you. Your friend is given to you, like some antivirus, like you are using some third-party application. So the third-party application means the application which is not there in your OS. So the third-party application, if you install in Linux, where it will be stored? In the OPT directory. The application which you are getting directly from your OS, if you install that application, then that application will be stored in USR. But if you downloaded some third-party application and you install the third-party application, then the third-party application means the application which you got from some third-party source, not from the OS, not from the Linux OS. And if you install that application, then that application will be installed where? In OPT. Is it clear? Whether I'm clear to you now? Sonam, did you understood the difference between OPT and USR? Okay. So just give me last few minutes. I'll wind up the session now, because I cannot stop in middle. So we need to complete this, then we'll stop it. So up to this, everybody understood? Up to this, everybody understood? Jafar, Sonam, and Venkatesh? Okay, fine. Now, next folder we have to discuss is yasbin. So yasbin contain what? The commands which can be used by only root user. Bin command can be used by all user, but yasbin command can be used only by root user. Remember this. So bin command can be used by all users. Like here we have seen. Bin command can be used by any user, all user. So bin contain list of commands which can be used by all user. Yasbin contain what? List of commands. Now we are discussing this. So /root contain the root created data. So yasbin contain what? So yasbin contain system binary. It contains the commands or list of the commands which can be used by only root user. This command cannot be used by other users. See here. This whatever commands present in the yasbin cannot be used by this command can be used only by root user, but cannot be used by other users. Those commands, whatever command present, can be used by root user only, but not by other users. Then SRV, it contains data for services. SRV means services. So once we started some services, where it will be stored? In SRV folder. Then temporary file, like your temporary files, where it will be stored? In Windows temporary folder. So same way here, all the temporary file will be stored in /temp folder. And whenever you mount any directory, so here partition will be accessed with what? Directory. So if you want to access the partition in Windows through drive letter, you will access. In Linux, if you want to access the partition will be accessed here with the help of the directory. So we have to create a link between the partition and directory. So once you create a link, one folder will be created that is called last plus found. So when you create a partition and you create a link to access that partition with the directory, one folder will be created. So that folder is called last plus found. So it will store the fragments or the data. So whenever our system shut down unexpectedly, so with the help of this last plus found, by using the FS tool, we can recover the data. Yes. So that option you don't have in Windows, it is there in Linux. Then whatever data we are writing, if it is not saved in the hard disk, so it will be stored in the memory, where in /proc folder. So it will be stored not on the hard disk but in the memory. And sys folder contain what? Your program files. So whenever you stored any, or you are writing something which you don't want to store in the hard disk, so that will be stored in proc. So same way, if you are running some program, that will be stored where? In /sys. And the var contain what? Your var contain variable data. So whenever user login, what they have done, so those things will be recorded in the form of the log files. So your sys contain what? It stores the information related to the kernel in the proc and system. Okay. So this is about the overall structure of the Linux operating system in complete detail. So out of that, you have to mainly remember //root /home/usr, those things. So you please tell me if you have any doubt, I'll repeat it. If you have any doubt, I'll repeat it. If it is okay, we'll stop the session. So this is the overall structure of the Linux. So tomorrow we will see how to install the OS. So Windows OS can be installed only on single partition. Linux OS, whichever folder is important, we can create a separate partition. That cannot be done in Windows. So Linux OS can be installed in multiple partition. So how to do that? We'll be discussing that tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll see the installation of the Linux. So yes, if you have any doubt, please unmute your mic. You can ask me related with today's session. Yes. See, Sonam, just this thing will be there for few days, because the demo sessions will be there only for few days. So once the demo sessions are, even though in demo session we are starting the classes, so once this demo sessions are completed, those who made the payment, for them one separate link and password will be created. So you can join that through that link. So once this payment is been done, then the once link will be created to you, and every day you will join through that link, and every day on your mail ID, every day recording will be sent to your mail ID. So it is like that. For few days you have to register. So once the payment is received, and those who have made the payment, and to them one separate link will be created. So it is only for few days you need to manage. Maybe this will be there 1 or 2 more days after that. So whoever joined the batch and made the payment, only they will be continuing with the batch, and for them one separate link will be created. Yes, once you do the course, you will be getting the course completion certificates from our Durgasoft. Yes, any other doubt, any other queries or any questions, anybody? See, the sessions will be there Monday to Saturday. Sunday there will be no session. In some rare cases, if due to any health issue or due to any urgent work, if the session is not there, we'll inform you. But mostly Monday to Saturday sessions will be there. Only on Sundays sessions will not be there. Yes, any other doubt, any other questions? See, I told you, I think Venkatesh, I told you on the first day, you are not there. So in Linux, so many vendors are there. So Linux is an open source, so many vendors will be there. So there are so many vendors. So the different vendors, they just took the source code of the Linux Torvald and add their features. So as a human being, you cannot learn all the flavors of, because it keeps on coming, your whole life will be over. So if you are good with any one of the folder, you can work on any flavor. The concept structure will be same. So most of the servers, they are working in the world on Red Hat. So we'll be discussing through the Red Hat. So you can also do it through the Ubuntu. But so once you go through this course, tomorrow I'll show you through the VMware. We'll give the link. You install the Linux OS, then you can Red Hat. In place of Red Hat, we are using CentOS, exactly same. So once you know how to operate that, same way you can operate. Only few commands, administrative commands, sometime will be different. So you can just Google it, equivalent command, you can get it. So like I told you yesterday, one example. Suppose you know the car driving in one, suppose Maruti. Suppose now the Tata is there. You can also drive, but it will take some time just to know some features here and there. But definitely driving will be there. So same way, if you are good in one flavor, you can work on any other flavor in Linux. You cannot go on learning each and every flavor, because the concept wise, the structure wise, everything will be same. Okay. See, whatever topic is there, whatever is given, it will be covered. In depth means, I told you, whatever we are discussing, you can easily cover up to 2 to 3 years experience. Okay. Yes, Sonam. There is no end to the depthness, but to cover the experience up to 2 to 3 years, this is more than sufficient. I hope you are following. Just give me a minute. I'm connecting the battery. Just a second. So as you go on depth, like PhD will be done only on one topic. So whatever depth we are covering, that will be sufficient for to claim the years of 2 to 3 years easily. And if you have good knowledge, even 3 to 4 years. But you have to be good with the whatever subject we are doing. Okay. Okay, fine. Is there any other question or doubt, anybody, before I close the session? Okay, no question from your end. So can I close the session? Okay, I'm closing the session. So as soon as possible, yes, as soon as possible, you try to make the payment, then that link will be created and you'll be joining the sessions every day. So how to make the payment? See here, here they have given you the information. You can contact the number here. Our person has made a, you can just through the chat box, just a minute. So the fee for this is 6,000 rupees. So here they have given this. Just a second. So here the complete detail is given. So if you want to make the payment, this is the thing, or you can directly contact the number also. These are the numbers. Okay, everything is given in the chat box. Here, condition also given. So did you understood? So from your chat box, you can just note down that, or if you want me to know, copy and paste means I can do it, or you can just check in the chat box. So you can do it through the online also, through the Google Pay, or account number is given. So you can do the payment. Did you understood, Zafar? So as soon as possible, all of you please make a payment. Okay. So shall I close the session? So I'm closing the session. Thank you everybody. See you tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll be discussing how to install the OS on multiple partitions. I'll be providing you, once you join the course, this complete material, whatever I have with the practical steps, everything will be given to you. Okay. And everyday recording you'll be sent.